On Christmas Day, my parents decided that my 5-month-old daughter couldn't come to the party. My mom texted me, "I don't want you to bring Sophia. Your daughter brings bad luck." What I did next angered my 84-year-old grandmother, and her reaction left everyone at the gathering speechless. Hey Reddit, Christmas used to be about family. Not the perfect kind you see in movies, but the familiar kind. Loud voices, mismatched decorations, food that never came out on time. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. This year was supposed to be different. I had my daughter, just 5 months old, tiny, warm, still getting used to the world. Her name was Sophia, and saying it felt like a prayer. I had imagined her first Christmas for weeks, not because she would remember it, but because I would, holding her while the lights twinkled, letting her little fingers grab at wrapping paper, watching my family soften around her as families do with babies. I should have known better. That morning, while Sophia slept against my chest, her breathing slow and steady, I received a text from my mom. "I forbid you from bringing Sophia to the party. Your daughter is bad luck." I read it twice, and then felt something inside me go completely still. Bad luck about a 5-month-old? My baby! For a moment, I thought I must be misreading it, that exhaustion had blurred my vision. Surely no one, especially not a mother, would say that about her own grandchild. I typed back with trembling hands, "What do you mean?" The reply came quickly. "Ever since she was born, things haven't gone well. Your father's health, your uncle's business, the accident. We don't need negative energy on Christmas." I felt nauseous. Sophia stirred slightly, her small hand curling into my shirt, trusting me completely. I stared at my phone, waiting for a follow-up, a correction. Nothing. This wasn't confusion, it was conviction. I sat there for a long time, my daughter warm and alive against me, while my own mother labeled her a problem. I thought about how carefully I had protected Sophia since her birth, shielding her from noise, cold, and rough hands. And now, the threat wasn't from outside, it was from within the family. I called my mom. She picked up on the second ring. "Mom," I said quietly, "she's a baby." "I know what she is," she snapped. "And I know what's happened since she arrived." "She didn't cause anything," I said, my voice breaking despite my efforts to stay calm. "You're too emotional," she replied. "You'll understand when you calm down. Come alone, or don't come at all." That was it. No compromise, no apology, no hesitation. I hung up. I didn't scream or cry. I looked down at my daughter, who had woken up, blinking at me with unfocused eyes, her mouth forming the smallest smile when she recognized my face. I made a decision. I wouldn't go to that party. Not without her. Not ever. I texted my parents back. If Sophia isn't welcome, then neither am I. The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. My phone rang. It was my father. "You're overreacting," he said immediately. "Your mother's just stressed." "You let her call my child bad luck," I replied. "She didn't mean it like that." "She meant it exactly that way," I said. There was silence, then a colder response. "If you choose to stay home, that's your decision." I hung up. By mid-morning, messages started coming in. Relatives asking why I wasn't coming, and saying I was being dramatic. Someone even joked, "Babies don't know it's Christmas anyway." I turned my phone off. I spent Christmas Day in my apartment, just me and Sophia. I held her near the window while snow fell outside, whispering stories she wouldn't yet understand. I promised her things I couldn't explain. "I'll always choose you," I told her softly, and I meant it, though I didn't know what that choice would cost me. That evening, my grandmother called. She was 84, sharp-minded and fierce, the kind of woman who had survived things people don't talk about. "Why aren't you here?" she asked. I hesitated, then told her everything. I didn't dramatize it or soften it. I repeated my mother's words exactly. There was a long silence on the line. Then my grandmother said something that made my blood run cold. "Did she say that about the baby?" "Yes," I whispered. Another pause. "Put Sophia down," she said calmly. "And listen to me." Her voice wasn't angry. It was controlled, the kind of calm that comes before a storm. "I'm coming," she said. "Grandma," I started. "No," she interrupted. "Stay home. Keep my great-granddaughter warm. I'll handle this." Before I could respond, the line went dead. I sat there holding my phone, heart racing. My grandmother hadn't driven at night in years. She hadn't raised her voice in decades. Yet something about her tone told me this wasn't a conversation, it was a reckoning. I didn't know what she would do or say, but I was sure of one thing. By the end of Christmas night, no one in my family would ever see Sophia the same way again. What my grandmother did when she arrived at that party turned whispered cruelty into public shame, leaving everyone in that room speechless. I didn't go to the gathering. I stayed home, holding my daughter while the sky darkened and Christmas lights flickered on in other people's windows. Sophia slept curled against my chest, her tiny breaths rising and falling as if she trusted the world completely. I kept checking my phone, not because I wanted to hear from my parents, but because I knew my grandmother, and when she said she was coming, she meant it. An hour passed. Then my phone rang. It wasn't my grandmother, it was my aunt. Her voice was shaking. "Are you sitting down?" she asked. My stomach dropped. "Yes," I said quietly. "She's here," my aunt whispered. "Your grandmother." Everything just stopped. They told me later what happened because, at the time, no one could speak properly. My grandmother arrived at the house without knocking. She didn't bring gifts or take off her coat. She walked straight into the living room, where everyone was gathered, music playing and laughter lingering in the air. She looked around slowly at my parents, the relatives, and the empty space where I should have been. Then she asked one question: "Where's the baby?" My mother laughed nervously. "Oh, she didn't bring her. Babies don't belong at parties." My grandmother didn't smile. She stepped forward, resting both hands on her cane. "I didn't ask about parties," she said calmly. "I asked where my great-granddaughter is." The room fell silent. My mother cleared her throat. "We thought it was better she stayed away. Too much bad luck lately." That's when my grandmother straightened. People who knew her said later they had never seen her like that. Not yelling or shaking, but perfectly still. "Say that again," she said. My mother hesitated, then repeated it. "She brings bad luck." My grandmother turned slowly, ensuring everyone was watching. "Listen to me," she said, voice low but unwavering. "I survived a war. I buried siblings. I raised children with nothing but faith and stubbornness. And never, not once, did I blame a baby for the failures of adults." No one spoke. She pointed her cane toward my parents. "You don't get to scapegoat a child because your lives are messy," she continued. "You don't get to call innocence bad luck because it's easier than looking in the mirror." My father tried to interrupt. "Mom, let's calm down." She cut him off with a raised hand. "No," she said. "You've been calm long enough." She turned to the room. "Anyone here who agrees with them," she said evenly, "is welcome to stay seated." No one moved. "Anyone who believes a baby deserves blame," she continued, "is no family of mine." Still no one spoke. My aunt later said she had never seen grown adults shrink like that. Then my grandmother did something no one expected. She took off the gold bracelet from her wrist, the one she had worn every Christmas since before I was born. She placed it on the table. "That bracelet," she said, "was meant for Sophia. It stays with her, not with people who curse her name." My mother started crying. My grandmother didn't look at her. "You don't get access to that child," she said firmly. "Not until you understand what you did." My father's voice cracked. "She's our granddaughter." My grandmother turned to him. "And she is not your superstition," she replied. She picked up her coat. "I came here to celebrate family," she said. "But family protects its youngest. Tonight you failed." Then she walked out, just like that. The music never turned back on. No one touched the food. People left quietly, avoiding eye contact, shame hanging in the air, thicker than any argument could have been. I didn't hear any of this until later. I was sitting on my couch when my phone finally rang again. This time it was my grandmother. "I'm on my way," she said simply. An hour later, she knocked on my door. I opened it and burst into tears. She said nothing. She just held me. Then she held Sophia, pressed a kiss to her tiny forehead, and whispered something in a language I didn't understand, something old and protective. "She is a blessing," my grandmother said softly. "Anyone who says otherwise doesn't deserve to know her." The aftermath wasn't dramatic, it was quiet. My parents didn't call that night or the next day. When they finally did, days later, my mother sounded smaller. "We didn't mean it," she said. It just felt like everything went wrong. I didn't raise my voice, I replied. You blame my child. My father later apologized, not well, but honestly. I should have stopped it, he said. Yes, I replied. You should have. Things changed after that. Boundaries were set. Visits stopped. Superstitions vanished quickly in the face of consequences. My daughter grew up loved, protected, untouched by their fears. Here's what I learned. Cruelty often hides behind tradition. Silence often protects the wrong people, and babies are never bad luck. They reveal who is. I didn't lose my family that Christmas. I learned who deserved to be one. No child is ever bad luck. Blaming innocence is the coward's way out. If someone can curse a baby to feel powerful, they were never safe to begin with. Protect your children, even if it means breaking traditions. Because love that requires sacrificing dignity was never love at all. That's all for today's story. Stay tuned for more powerful, real-life inspired tales. Thanks for watching.